there, welcome to Subpar Stitches. My name is Hillary and this is my Flosstube channel. So I am coming up, I think, on a year on Flosstube. I think I started my channel either in June or maybe July. I'll have to check. But I'm thinking about, for my Flosstube anniversary or whatever, doing a whip parade, because I don't think I've ever done a whip parade on here because I was monogamous, like a monogamous stitcher, until I started my Flosstube channel. And then that's when I was like, oh yeah, let's have 10 billion whips. Hillary, that's a great idea. So now I have enough to do a whip parade. So I'm thinking for my Flosstube anniversary, I will do a whip parade. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments if you want to see one from me. I think it might be fun. This is going to be kind of a lengthier video. I can feel it because I'm surrounded by stuff. And so prepare yourselves, buckle in. And my next video after this, like my next regular Flosstube video, is, I'm probably going to skip it because it'll, like my schedule, I come here every 2 weeks, talk to you about my cross stitching and some of my other crafts and things like that. But in 2 weeks, I will be in Ohio for StitchCon Weekend A. So I think what I'm going to do is after this, I'm going to film like a little bit of an extra. That way I can just pop that in so you guys will have content. I'm not sure how many people are like hanging on the edge of their seats for my content. But I will have a video again in 2 weeks. It just won't be a regular Flosstube. It'll be a fun, I think, tag video that I have decided to put together. So all that said, let's hop right into my Flosstube, and I've got my format, I think, down pat now. So after the introduction comes my bi-weekly shout-outs or Flosstube recommendations. These are probably always going to be just people I've been watching a lot recently or newly discovered. I keep all my YouTube watch later like separated by type of video. So like I have like a crafts cross stitch section. I had over 100 videos on there that I really needed to do some catch up on. I've got it down to under 50 as of today. So I'm catching up on all my Flosstube. I don't like feeling behind, and there's like no obligation to watch like everybody's videos, but like I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what they're up to. So one person that I found is like an instant click for me lately is the Garden Goose Stitcher. She is also a Michigan, I think she's a Michigan native. I think she lives in Michigan, and she loves geese, which is kind of, it's like, that's her whole thing. And I'm sure a lot of you probably already know a lot of the people I'll recommend, but just on the off chance that you don't, I like to even shout out like people who are like, you know, like the big staples in the community. And she and I don't have like any overlap in stitching stuff, I think, for the most part, but I really like her personality. She's just kind of fun and goofy, and like she seems really sweet. And her craft room, she recently posted a video touring her craft room. She just got like this cabinet and she showed like how she stores all her stuff, and I'm a sucker for a room tour. I love watching that kind of stuff because I like getting inspiration, but I believe she also quilts and does other stuff too. She's got a really bubbly, goofy, fun personality, and so she's always a treat to watch. So there's some people I will add to my like watch later so that I'm like, oh, I'll watch them while I'm at work or something like that. I'll save it for later. But then there's other people where I'm like, I gotta watch them right now. I gotta know what's going on. And she's definitely one of them, just because I really like how fun and bubbly. How many times can I be like, she's so fun and bubbly? But I just really like that about her. I am not a bubbly, positive personality person. And so a lot of people I watch on YouTube especially are, because I want to be not so, what's the word? Cynical, I guess. So yeah, she's somebody who definitely brightens my day when I watch her. The next channel, everybody knows this channel, but I am going to mention it anyways because I watched like 6 hours of their backlog at work yesterday because I was so behind. They post longer videos. This is 2 needles pulling thread. Sometimes when people post like 2-ish hour videos, I save them for while I'm at work because I have those big long stretches where I can watch them, but then I get behind. And so I was like way, way, way behind on them. So I think I've watched all but their most recent video, and I really, really like them. They are sisters-in-law, right? Because one is married to the other's brother, I think. But they're really fun. Again, I probably have almost no overlap with these two women in my stitching style and their stitching style, but I love a duo. There's something about a duo that is just so fun, where they kind of go back and forth, and it's like clear you can see like their relationship, and like they like pick back and forth at each other. And I'm like terrible with people's names, but I think their names are Missy and Kathy, and I believe it's Kathy who, like, I think her thing is kind of like flamingos, and I love when people have a thing. And so she has in their backdrop, they have this like kind of like coffee, it looks like a coffee center, a coffee hub in her home, and it's always got like flamingos and like fun seasonal decor. And I think probably if I was gonna say I stitch more like one than the other, it would be like Kathy, because she does do kind of like Halloween-y fun stuff, but they both do some more prim stuff, samplers. They do, I think, some religious stitching. I'm not a religious stitcher, but it is fun to see the variety and things like that. I like watching people who stitch different stuff than me, because it gives me an opportunity to see what's out there and not like just close off to just the stuff that I think I like, because I find that it expands me, like my stitching opportunities and things like that. And I think they just hit like 8,000 subscribers. Like they're a big channel in the cross stitch world. So you've probably heard of them. But I definitely, if you haven't watched anything from them, I definitely recommend them, because they're really funny together. And the last person I want to recommend to you guys is somebody who she actually just posted yesterday for the first time in like a year. This is Alexis_My_Amazing_World. You probably have heard, I don't know, in my head I refer to them as the girlies, but like Cam the Stitcher, the Seattle Stitcher, the Museum Stitcher, Marjorie Maid, like they're like a squad. And Alexis is part of that squad. They all refer to each other as the girlies. So in my head, I'm like, they're the girlies. But they always talk about her. And so I had gone to check her out like a year ago, and she had like one recent video, and then she never posted again. So I followed her on Instagram. So you probably are more familiar with her over there. But then last night, she posted another video, and, you know, she had like a really big life update, so I can understand why she hasn't posted in as long as she has, but it's cool to see her come back. She's really fun. She's another one of those like bubbly, very outgoing personalities, and she and I definitely have, I think, some stitching in common. She stitches a lot of like cute, fun, goofy stuff, and so I highly recommend her. Definitely check her out. Go show her some love, because she came back and she just full on was like, look at all my FFOs, look at everything I've been doing. And so that was really fun. So definitely go check her out, give her some support on her video, because it has been a while since she posted. And when you wait too long on YouTube, it definitely messes with your algorithm, and, you know, sometimes your video isn't pushed as much. So go give her a like and a follow. So those are all my shout outs and recommendations for today. I try to keep it to around 3, because I feel like it'll get out of control and we'll be here all day if I just am like, here's everybody I watched in the past 2 weeks, because it's a lot. So next, I like to talk about my FFOs and my FOs, or my fully finished objects and my finished objects. In the past couple videos, I haven't had any. Usually if I have something, it's a finished object, but not an FFO. Because like many people in this hobby, I finish stuff and then I put it in the box. I mean, everybody, I swear, we all have a box, a bag, a basket somewhere where we stuff our completed stitches, and then we don't look at them again for like 3 years and put off FFOing them. So this is my box, and I bought this because I'm obsessed with the blue willow China pattern. And this is what it reminded me of. And don't ask, we had dinner plates that we ate off of every night that were Blue Willow China pattern. And for some reason in my head, like, I have a weird emotional tie to it. So anytime I see anything that's Blue Willow, I want it for some reason. Somebody tagged me recently in a Blue Willow cross stitch pattern, and I was like, oh, I need to buy those. I still haven't yet, but I will, but I'm broke this month. I spent all my money already. But yeah, as you can see, my finished object box is empty. This bitch empty! And if you looked at the thumbnail before you clicked on this video, then you will know why. I fully finished every single thing in this box. How many items was that? I fully finished 20 objects in the span of 3 days because something got into me and I was like, all right, let's get them all done. Let's stop letting them sit here. So I'm gonna show you 20 FFOs. I have no finished objects, just fully finishes. I am going to warn you that these are varying levels of skill when it comes to FFOing. Some of these are things that I've done before, like I've made ornaments before, I've framed things before, but then I definitely attempted a couple new things. So I made a couple pillows to varying degrees of success, and I made a couple of flat folds to 0 degrees of success. So those are hideous, and I'm going to show them to you anyways because we all have to learn somewhere. Those will probably be ripped apart and redone at some point, but I can't be asked to do it right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. So let's just go like type of finish by type of finish. So the first easiest one that I did was photo frames, and I took stock of everything that I had and how I wanted to fully finish it. Then I looked at what I had at home, pulled all that out, and then I made a list of what I wanted to get so that I could fully finish everything. And I think it was like 2 weekends ago, I went to Michael's and Joann's, and I just bought everything I needed, and I came home and I just started. So at Michael's, I got a bunch of picture frames. I feel like Michael's is far better than Joann's when it comes to picture frames. And I got this little cute Bugs Are Neat framed in this kind of orangey, more natural looking wood. I thought it would look good with the orange that is in the stitching, and I was right. I actually bought 2 of these frames because I have the other pattern as well. It also says Bugs Are Neat, but it's got pictures of snails. And I don't think I mentioned this, but this is a stitch sprout pattern. Just a cute, quick, I think I stitched this in like a day or maybe a day and a half. And don't ask me what it looks like inside. I don't lace things. I cut it to size and then I stick it in there because these are cheap frames and there's not a lot of space in them. And I don't want the back to be like, have a bunch of extra bulk. So I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's not the way you're supposed to do it, but that's the way I did it. So I quickly framed Bugs Are Neat. I don't know where I'm going to put all this crap. Oh my God. I had these 3, they're called Enchanted Forest by Una Buena Piezza. And I had wanted to, I've told you guys a million times, like I wanted to do like a triptych frame, and I found one and I was like, that's going to be perfect. And then I didn't understand how rulers worked apparently. So one of the 3 did not fit. But I did stitch Enchanted Forest 1, 2, and 3. And when I was at Michael's, I just saw the most perfect frames for these. And I was like, I don't care how much those are, I have to buy them. And then they ended up being like buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one half off or something like that. So I was like, all right, ideal situation. So this is gonna be annoying because yes, I did put the glass in, and they are like, they're almost like floating frame type. So they have like glass on the back and the front. So there's really nothing to be done here. I just had to sandwich it. So that's the back. But the front is the shape of that cloche or that bell jar or whatever they're called. And I don't remember which one is 1, 2, and 3 because I don't remember if they went like from smallest to largest or what. But here's the tiniest one. And I did replace the called for color of the ghost with the glow in the dark DMC. So those ghosts do glow in the dark, but everything else is called for. So there's the first one, and you can see it like props up like that. I think these frames were only like $12 too, which pretty good deal on a funky frame like that. Here is the second one. It is just a little bit bigger. And again, I replaced the ghosts, but everything else is called for. And then the one that was causing me trouble, because this is the one that just didn't fit in a lot of the frames because it's very tall, is this one. And it looks so good in this frame. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe everyone's like, Hillary, that looks like garbage, but I think it looks cute. And I don't know where I'm going to put these. Probably in my living room, even though they won't match our theme, because we have a bunch of Patrick Nagel prints in our living room, because our living room is like 80s themed. For some reason, these are not going to match, but all our furniture is like black and white and glass, so they'll kind of match. But yeah, I think these turned out so cute. They're my favorite thing ever. And I'm so glad I found these frames, because they were perfect. And then the last thing is Mothman Believes in You, or the last thing that I put in a photo frame. This is actually a gift for someone that I'm going to see in July. So I was like, all right, I really got to put this in a frame. That's kind of what spurred me on to do all these. I was going to get a frame for this, and then I ended up getting a frame for everything. I had a really hard time finding a frame that was going to suit this and was the right size. I wanted it to be tighter to like the stitching, but I couldn't find anything, because I think it's like 5.5 by 5.5 or something like that. It's like a weird size for framing apparently, and I wanted it to be a perfect square. So this was the best I could find, and so there is a lot of extra space, but I hand dyed this fabric. So I was like, maybe I'll just show off the fabric a little bit. This is also a stitch sprout pattern, I believe. And it is, I replaced the DMC with Sulky. And that was fun. That was my first time stitching with Sulky. Haven't done it again for some reason, even though I have a ton. I need to do some of that. But yeah, so this will be given away. It's just like your standard kind of frame. And if the person I give this to wants to reframe it, they can do that. It's up to them. I don't know what their home decor looks like, but I figured this plain black frame suits most, you know? So that is everything that I framed. By the way, if any of these patterns like catch your fancy, I always have names of the pattern designer and then links, if they're available, in my description box in chronological order of when they are mentioned. So take a peek down there if you see something that you also want to stitch. I did do one hoop finish, and I actually really liked this method for hoop finishing. I think I watched a video from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. They had like 3 different ways, and I did like the most complicated one, but it really didn't take that long. So this is Be Nicer to Yourself, You Dumb Bitch. And this is a big hoop. I got this hoop from, I think I got the hoop from Michael's, and it's like the loops and thread kind of thing. That's like their store brand, right? That's like the Walmart brand of hoops, I think. I have always been like hesitant to hoop finish, because the 2 objects that I've hoop finished in my life, I didn't do a very good job on. But this Caterpillar Cross Stitch one was so easy. This is what the back looks like. Literally all you do is you cut the fabric kind of close, and then you glue it. This is a permanent finish. Like you can't, it's not easy to undo. And then you glue it to the inside of the hoop, and then this actually comes out. I stuck some, what is that, batting? Yeah, batting in there, just so that it would like not show through. And then this is literally a piece of cardboard, and I had to tape it together because I couldn't find a piece of cardboard big enough. It doesn't feel flimsy in the hoop though. But yeah, I just laced this, or I like cinched this on there. This is just some fabric that I bought, and then I cut it to size before all that. and then you just pop it in there, and it's like tight enough where it doesn't fall out, and it looks really nice. So I don't know, I feel like this one looks really clean on that really stark white even weave, and I don't remember who the pattern designer was, so that will be in the description box. Next, I finished up a bunch of ornaments, and I think all of these are from my New Year's Eve 12 by 12. I haven't finished all of my 12 by 12s that I started, like I haven't finished stitching them, but all the ones that I have finished stitching, I did turn into ornaments the other day. So, we have, this is, which Santa is this? This is a Pine Tree Santa. This was a Mill Hill, and I just cut it out and did a really basic finish. I got some, there's like a string on there. I got some, like sticky felt, and I don't, like that's more just to keep the back from like looking unruly. And then I just took some ribbon, and my goal is to make like a bajillion stitched Christmas ornaments so that I can have like a fully stitched Christmas tree. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's nothing special. It's nothing like advanced or anything. I just kind of cut I cut the felt vaguely in the shape, and now it's an ornament. Cute. In a similar vein, this is Welcome. This is one that I got from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I, again, finished it. I thought it was upside down. I finished it with felt on the back. You can see I used like a reddish felt to kind of match the front, and then I have this like kind of gold cording. It's like stretchy, but I just thought that looked kind of cute as an accent. This was stitched in 2 pieces, so you stitched the door and you stitched the wreath, and I put beads on the wreath because I thought that would be cute. I think that initially it was like, I almost said spaghetti stitches, confetti stitches. I think it was confetti stitches. This was from the Just Cross Stitch 2023 Ornament magazine. And then you were supposed to cut each of these out, and then it said you were like supposed to tack this onto this. I don't know what they mean by tack. Do they mean glue? I don't know. But you know what I did instead? I put a magnet in between the felt and the stitching, and the felt and the stitching. And so it's removable, because I just feel like, why would I go to all that effort of doing like 6 back stitches in the windows only to cover it up for them to never be seen again? I want to be able to be like, oh, I want to look at that back stitching. Okay, cute. All right, I can put that back. So I bought these like really itty bitty magnets, and I stuck them in between, and I thought it was clever, and I thought it was a great idea, and I love it. These next 2 are also from the Just Cross Stitch 2023 magazine. So this is, I think it's Woodland Holiday, and this one I put on, like, I wrapped it around some board, and then I like stuck the 2 boards together. I put this kind of cute greenery fabric on the back. I know it's not like super Christmassy, but I just felt like this is not quite Christmassy. It's more like wintry, so I just thought like the greenery, and then I put gold to kind of contrast with the white. I don't know. I mean, these don't look perfect, but it's good enough for me. I think they're cute. I'm not trying to like rag on myself. I just know I didn't do like the best job, but I'm always learning, and that's what's important. But yeah, I thought that one's really cute. And then I also did, this one's called Christmas Chaos. And again, I kind of did like the board, and this is, I was being so careful to make sure that like the, whatever you call that, the checkerboard was like even and straight. This one is so cute. It's like these cats that are just like psychos, and we can't have cats because Rob is wildly allergic, and my sister's fiance is wildly allergic. So, but Rob wants a cat so bad, and he doesn't care. And I'm like, I'm not going to live with you with a swollen head for the rest of our lives. I'm not doing that. But yeah, these are relatively easy finishes. I put some of these like weird like pom-poms that I had. I think I got them at like Hobby Lobby, which I hate admitting that I even went in there, but I did. I try to not go in there, but sometimes I get bored and then I go in there and I forget. But yeah, so these 2 were also, what do you call it? the Just Cross Stitch. And this one's kind of heavy. I don't know why this one feels so heavy, but it is. Very cute, kind of big for an ornament, but I don't care. And then the last one, this one I actually finished quite a while ago. This is Tomato Santa. This is Lucy Beam. So this, I ended up, I think it was all charted in DMC, but I thought it was super cute. I literally bought overdyes just to stitch this, like this tiny itty bitty thing. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It was fun. And I think it's so cute. And I bought Whisper Thread for his soul patch, which I don't know if I need to like with the toothbrush a little bit more to make it a little bit more like pronounced, or I don't know if that's just as pronounced as it gets. And then this is where my lack of professional skills comes in. So here's the back fabric, which I thought was like a kind of nice little match to the front, very plain, very simple, just like these little pluses or whatever. And then I had this really thick red cording that I was like, oh, that's going to be perfect. You know what is not perfect about this? The second you cut it, the ends just start to unfurl like crazy. And I was like, I still really want to use it. So I glued it on there. And then as you can see, it looks like a globby mess. So I put a bunch of fray check on it. And then I made this little bow and I glued it to the front so you can't see it when you're looking at it straight on. Talk about innovative, am I right? I don't know. I'm happy with it. I think it's cute. Someday I will do a better job on these things, but for now I'm just happy that they're done. So those were all of my ornaments that I finished. This one, it was kind of random. Like I forgot that I had this. I found it like buried in my little box, and I told you guys at the very beginning of the year I had gone to a Tatriz class in Dearborn, Michigan. And Tatriz, for those who don't know, is like the Palestinian version or word for cross stitch, but I want to say it's like the version of cross stitch because Tatriz has like a very specific underlying cultural element. A lot of the motifs stand for specific things, and then women would put them on their clothing and make these like beautiful garments. At least that's the way it was explained at this class. Now, I don't know if they just call like even like, you know, the stitching that we do here. Like, I don't know if they would refer to that as Tatriz as well. That wasn't really explained, but we all got like a page with a bunch of small motifs, and I don't have like this pattern, but I do know of a website that is a big resource for Tatriz patterns. So if I can find it again, I will link it down below. But like I said, I had this finish and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I just thrown it in the box. When I was digging for other finishing stuff, I found these clear plastic pins that I bought that I thought would be fun to stick cross stitch in, you know, many months ago. And then I just never did anything with them. And I was like, that's perfect. That's like the perfect size. So I finished this as a pin, and they're just like really cheap. I think it's like the brand was like called like Pop or something like that. And you can see the back because the whole thing is clear. So I was like, oh, I need to put some fabric on the back to really kind of like cover that up. And look at the fabric that I had. I had a bunch of different watermelon fabrics, and I thought this one was perfect because it was like round and it kind of fit. But yeah, like this plastic piece just pops apart, and then you put whatever you want in there, and then you clip it back in together. It like snaps into place. And so now I have the like Palestinian Tatriz, and I know the watermelon is a big symbol. And so I just was like, watermelon fabric is perfect for this. So cute. It's the only pin I made, but made me want to make more, and I have a bunch more of these, so I'll probably do that. Okay, I made 2 pillows, and these are my first ever pillow finishes. I'm having some issues with my sewing machine right now that I cannot figure out, can't troubleshoot. Out of nowhere, suddenly started skipping stitches like crazy, and I've cleaned the machine. I have changed the needle. I've played with the tension. I don't know what's going on. I need to like sit down and just like focus on that. I've been really like frantic about it. So, yeah, I did 2 pillows. The first one I did is Don't Touch Me. This is These 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari, and I used the DMC conversion for this. This is on a like really cutie Bestitch Me fabric, and actually it's 40 count petunia, so it's like 1/2, and they use like a Canadian over dye. I just was like, I'm gonna buy the DMCs, and as you can see, there's like a whisper of rickrack. I was following Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She had like a mini tutorial, or maybe it was like in the video she was doing, and I don't know if it was like specifically labeled as a tutorial, but she finished it with rickrack, and I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna do that. Didn't pay attention to like measurements, and so I sewed it too far down, so when I turned it inside out, the rickrack is barely there. I'm gonna say it was an artistic decision. It was a choice. I did it on purpose. But now I know for the future how to do it properly. And this will be something that would be very easy to pull apart and re-sew because it's not very big. So if one day it bothers me so much that I decide I need to re-sew this inky dinky pillow, I will. And I hand sewed the closure at the bottom with like a, what would you call it? Like an overcast stitch where it's like on the outside and you wrap it around. I feel like it's like, for having been my first ever pillow, I feel like it's not too bad. I used a really good coordinating thread color, so you can barely tell. And the backing fabric is really cute. And yeah, it's just filled with like polyfill. I know some people put like lizard litter and crushed. Where are you people buying walnuts? Like, that's like a fancy people food. Where are you getting all these walnuts? And also some people use like poly beads or something. I don't know. I just put like the polyfill. It's very light. I don't care that much. I don't even have a dough bowl to put this in because dough bowls, again, seem like they're for fancy people. They're very expensive, but I would like a dough bowl. I don't know where I would put a dough bowl. It would not match our decor, but I don't care. And so eventually that will go in a dough bowl. But yeah, I love that. I immediately followed that, like literally like 5 seconds later. I was like, all right, let's do the next pillow. And this one turned out, in my opinion, much better. I also didn't put rickrack on it because I learned my lesson from the first one. And I feel like just from the first pillow to the second pillow, I see a pretty, for me, in my opinion, I see a significant improvement. I definitely probably could have put a little bit more in there, more filling. This is the clown from the Cottage Garden Samplings, like Snowmen series. Me and this clown, we had beef, but now he's a pillow and I don't care. Some people are weird about like their pillow sizes. Like they've probably, you are like, that's too big for a pillow. I feel like a pillow can be whatever size you want it to be and no one can stop you. So it doesn't have any trim. It's very plain. That's fine. I don't care. I can add trim later if I want. I found this like super swirly neutral leaning fabric in a fat quarter at Joann's, and I felt like it kind of matched the fabric on the front. I mean, not really, but I felt like it coordinated. And then I managed to, I turned it all inside out, or like, I guess right side out. And then the way that I sewed this together was different. I used a more invisible stitch. I found a lady who she was like, here's how you sew up a pillow. And I was like, that's a really specific YouTube video. And it helped a lot. And I feel like it looks so much nicer and it looks way more consistent than the other. I know a lot of people, they do this like weird thing where it's like a split back. And I don't know why, because like this was so easy. It took like 2 seconds. So that's how I will be sewing up pillows from now on. And I use that technique 2 more times, I think. Yeah, 2 more times in my finishing after I did it with this pillow. And it was like a breeze. So, I don't know. I think this pillow's cute. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Rob really liked it, though. He was like obsessed with it. So maybe he can have it because I kind of want to, I don't know. I just want to punch him a little bit. He made me so mad. That was my first ever stitch on linen. So I just really struggled. Now I don't care. Like linen's fine. Linen's easy. But like that first one, I was like, oh my God, I had such a time. Okay, I don't want to show you these because they're so bad, but I'm going to show you anyways. These are the flat folds that I attempted, but I did a really bad job because, listen, so this woman on YouTube, her name is Vanna Pfeiffer. She makes the greatest, very in-depth, very detailed tutorials. And she says on the video, like, you know, these are free, just please credit me when you use my tutorials and use my finishing methods, mention me. And I feel guilty. I feel so bad mentioning her because I used her tutorial, but like about halfway through, I think I just stopped listening, and that's why these didn't turn out correctly. And so it's like, yes, Vanna Pfeiffer, I did watch her video. However, she cannot be held accountable for these finishes. So here is what happened. I got cocky and I thought I knew where it was going, and I just stopped paying attention and I just started doing whatever I wanted. And that was not the move. So, let me see. Let's start with the one that's worse. So this one is called Turkey Trot. So here is the finished stitching. This is Bendy Stitchy, isn't it? It'll be down below. I dyed this fabric myself. I really, really like this stitch. Here is the fabric I used for the back of the flat fold. However, I really missed the part on how to connect them at the top. So then I screwed it up and I had to jerry rig it. So I mean, it's flat and it folds. It does the job. I don't know. I think I'm gonna peel them apart and redo them at some point when I can pay attention. But for now, they're just gonna stay as they are. And then I try to make some cording to like put around the edge, but then I don't know. I don't think this one is long enough. Oh no, it is long enough. Yeah. So I thought that would look cute, but we'll see. I don't know. Sorry, Vanna. And then the other one, this is an ink circles, and this is called Assembly Required. And again, I dyed this fabric. The thread is not an over dye, but a DMC, which is variegated. And so that looked really cool. I used this fabric for the backing, and it's Teresa Kogut. So I wasted some nice cute fabric on like the worst flat fold known to man, because this one I jury rigged in a different way, thinking like, oh, maybe if I just put some fabric it won't be noticeable. Look at this. Look at the side of this. Girl, who was not gonna notice? So either I will save this with trim, or I will again peel the whole thing apart and redo them. But they're FFOs for now, so it's fine. Okay, these last three FFOs are like my all-time favorite. If you hear the guy weed whacking the entire yard for some reason instead of just mowing it, I'm sorry, but he's driving me nuts and he won't go away. So first I want to show you Nostalgic Ouija. This is a witchy stitcher pattern. I love this. So this, I basically did like a pillow finish without stuffing it. I tried to put interfacing on the back of this, like an iron-on interfacing. It kept just falling off. So I don't know if it was my iron was the problem, which I don't think it was, because I put interfacing on one of the pillows that I made and it stuck on fine, but that was using like an even weave. So I don't know. I don't know if it just won't stick to Ada. It's a mystery that I don't care to solve. And so I basically did like a pillow finish. What the heck? My leg. Basically did like a pillow finish, but I didn't stuff it. And then this is the backing fabric that I found at Joann's. I was like looking for something very like dark Lisa Frank, and I found it. And you know, I didn't do any trim. Like, I know it looks kind of plain, but I feel like it kind of speaks for itself. It doesn't need anything more. It's already really, really obnoxious. What more could it need? And then I had also done the planchette. So I put like the stitching around the edge so that it, you know, didn't have like bare plastic, because I did it on plastic canvas. And then I just used more of that sticky felt. And so this is an interactive little piece. How cute. I don't know where I'm going to put this. This is definitely like a lay it out somewhere, kind of a fun little like coffee table piece. I don't know, like where people can be like, wow, Hillary, that's so amazing. You did such a good job. And I can be like, I know. But yeah, I just thought that was really, really fun. This is exactly what I had envisioned. And I think the one thing that I did struggle with, which, yeah, it's pretty obvious. You know, maybe you can't tell on camera, but that top seam is, it's going off into space. I couldn't get it straight. I don't know what happened there. Every other edge looks fine. It was just that top one. So this is another one that if it really ends up bothering me, I can peel it apart, sew it back together. Not that big of a deal. But all of this has been a learning process, and that's okay. That's okay that these things aren't perfect because they're for me and I'm learning. Second to last is Sewing Starfish's Wizard Inventory. And I told you guys I wanted to make like a hanging thing, and a hanging thing I did make. This is exactly, again, this is kind of what I envisioned. I bought like a dowel from Joann's, and then I just made cording with the a billion gallons of black DMC I have. And then I found like a bell pull tutorial and just kind of did what that said. Only this is obviously not a bell pull. It's like huge. Again, I had, for some reason with that top, like the way I sewed this top together, it was a little wonky, but because it was going to be folded over the dowel and then sewn down, it wasn't as big of a concern. I think the only thing that I would do differently next time is I would have given myself a little bit more space at the top, because I know you can't tell from head on camera, but from the side you can probably kind of see it dips in just a little bit, so it does distort it just a smidge. It's something that I can, again, fix in the future. I showed this to Rob, my fiance, and he was like, that would look perfect in my game room. And I was like, okay, now we know where we're going to put it. So this will probably go in his office if he ever does anything with it, because we've lived in this apartment for 3 going on 4 years, and he still hasn't decorated or organized it in any sense of the word. And I've mentioned to him many times, hey, I will help you, let's set a day. And he goes, do we really have to do it right now? And I was like, no, you pick the day. And he goes, okay, let's do this day. And then that day never pans out. So his room is just, it's just a trash heap. It's not like my perfectly organized room. So that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, if he ever gets his life together, this will go in his room. It looks so cute. I'll probably do, because I'm doing their current, this was a Sal by Sewing Starfish, and now she's got one, the Slumber Party Sal, I'm doing that too. I'll probably finish that the same way and then hang that one in my office. So cute. And then my final finish, if you are going to StitchCon Weekend A and you are participating in the Smalls Exchange, skip using the, what do you call them, timestamps to the next part, because this is going to be my Smalls Exchange. And I know that people are like, don't show them on YouTube until after, but you know what? You're not my mom. So I actually have already showed this before. But this is my Smalls Exchange, and I kind of don't want to give it away because I love it so much. I stitched these, they're called like Halloween cookies. I stitched them on plastic canvas, and I made them into like functional objects. So I did this. This is like the ghost cookie that, what are they? I don't know who does them, but I sewed a magnet. I did a front and a back, and I sewed a magnet in between them. And then I have one for the back, and now it's a needle minder. Like, how precious. I'm going to make these for myself because I want them. And then I got another one. I put, it's got fuzz on it, but I sewed just a touch of like, what do you call it? Like polyfill in there, so that this one would also be a little bit like squishy and plump. And so that in between, I made this orange and green cording, and it is a scissor fob. And then I bought these really cute scissors off of Etsy, just so that they would fit the theme. And so now this is going to be my little smalls exchange. Now, I'm a little bit self-conscious because the smalls exchanges that I see a lot of people do are like small pillows or biscornues, and they're a little bit bulkier in size, and the limit I think is like 5 by 5 inches stitched space. So that's fine, but I don't know. Does this look like too wimpy? If it were me, I would be really thrilled to receive something like this. This is really cute and it's functional with your stitching. I think that's really fun. But again, like, this is my first ever retreat, my first ever exchange, so I just am worried. So let me know if you'd be excited to receive something like this. I think I'm gonna stick a little bit of like candy or something in the bag too, just so that I feel like less bad about it. But I love this. I think these are really cute, and I just think I would be happy to get something like this. So I don't know. Okay, that was all the FFOs. Can you believe it? 20 objects fully finished. 2 of them look like garbage. Not gonna lie. The flat folds, I'm sorry, Vanna, once again. I feel like I've used her name in vain. So, this video is probably gonna be forever. Let's get into my new starts. So, the first new start I had was another Witchy Stitcher pattern. This is Nostalgic Tarot. So, this is just like Nostalgic Ouija, like same kind of color palette, very tangled, very Lisa Frank. Oh no, what a mess I have made. Ew, why are they dusty? What the hell? I bought Adam Hart thread bobbins for these, and I never do that. I'm not somebody who bobbinates. I work off of, or I'm not somebody who thread drops. I'm someone who works off of bobbins, and I use one master set and it's shared amongst every project. So I just go to the drawer and pull out whatever color I need. Some people might find that inconvenient. I find it soothing that it's all consolidated into one big drawer set. But yeah, I bought these cute little hearts, these like galaxy hearts, because I wanted to treat myself, because this project is huge. It's huge. I got like the biggest piece of Ada I've ever seen in my life, and I started it. And if I can wrangle this, I like washed this Ada, try to get like the starchiness out of it. I don't know how that's gonna go. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is 14 count black Ada, and this is my start. This is actually where card number 1 or card 0 will go. I think they're doing, is it 20 or 22 cards in the Major Arcana? But there's like a big white ornate border that goes around everything, and then every card has this like gradient rainbow, and I wanted to finish like the whole outline, but bro, like, do you see how many like quick color changes there are? It's like 5 stitches and then you go to the next color, so it takes a little bit of like time. So I only worked on this one day, and this is what I got, but I definitely want to keep working on it. I mean, obviously, that's the point of the project. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be huge. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I kind of want to have it like custom framed, and it'll take up a huge chunk of my wall. But I think only 4 of the cards have been released so far. I'm not in like a massive rush. It's going to be a fun, incredibly long, incredibly large stitch. It's like 400 and something by like 500 stitches or something like that. So it's a little bit crazy. The only substitution that I have made and probably will make is the white that it's called for is 3865. And I just have an entire cone of Blanc, because I bought a cone of Blanc and I bought a cone of 310. And I was like, it just makes sense to use the cone of Blanc. Like 3865 and Blanc, the difference is very like minimal for a project like this. So that's just what I'm going to do. It's just easier than buying like 10,000 skeins of 3865. But yeah, so there's where I am. And I will continue to work on that one. And I'll probably intermittently, I'm just going to wad this up and throw it over there, because I'm over it right now. It's too big. I just think that I'll probably swap back and forth between working on the border, and then when I'm like, oh, I'm so over the border, I will work on a card, and then when I'm like, okay, I'm sick of all this dense, like, full coverage card stitching, switch back to the border, and I can just kind of go back and forth until it's done. My second new start is actually a restart, and I have never done this. I've never done a restart. I usually just kind of am like, you must suffer, you made your choices, like, we're not going to waste fabric, we're not going to waste all that stitching, we're not going to waste all that floss. However, in this case, in this scenario, I hecked up, and I was supposed to stitch on it one way, and I stitched on it the opposite way, and that means I don't have enough fabric, and so I needed to restart it. So this is Colors of Spring. Here is as far as I got before I realized that this is too short. I've never in my life done that. I've never miscalculated fabric size too small. And somehow I did. And it's because I was supposed to stitch it this way, but I didn't do that. I don't know what happened. So this was a 40 count petunia, even weave by Bestitch Me. And actually, I'm glad this happened because I thought the pink would be cute for the Colors of Spring. I'm going to do Colors of Spring, Summer. They call it Colors of Autumn, but I'm changing it to Colors of Fall because I'm not British. And Colors of Winter. And they also have Colors of Halloween and Christmas, so I might do those too. But I just want to show you guys, like, this is where I was. I'm going to pull all that out, and this is still way, way usable. But yeah, that is where I was before I realized. And like I said, I'm glad that I did because this pink, I love this pink, but I don't think it suits the project. And I ended up getting a different Bestitch Me fabric in my club before I mean, I want to say I put a pause on it because I'm going to rejoin it in the future, but I had to cancel it for now just because I needed to save a little bit of money and use some of the fabrics that I have. But this is also a 40 count even weave, and I think, what is it called? This is April Showers, and I know I made the right choice with this because I got way further in just about the same amount of stitching time because I enjoy the way it looks much better. So here is where I am now. And so I actually fully finished 2 blocks. It's like 5 blocks across, and then I think it's like 5 or 6 blocks down, but every block is 18 by 18. So these blocks are pretty dense. We have baby chicks, cherry blossoms. Those two are just like full coverage, single color. This is going to be like some sprouts. So where that empty space is, I will fill in with green, and it will like repeat all the way throughout the block. And then I want to like do like an interchangeable thing. So like once I'm done, I will finish these with like magnets on the back, and then whatever I want to mount them to, I can swap them out. I have recharted a little bit of every single one of these patterns because it's like classic British colors of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And first of all, took the U out of colors and then recentered that. I just put it in a stitch fiddle and like fiddle with it, you know? And then there's a few on this pattern. Let me see, like these came out of magazines. So they have like hot cross buns as one of the colors of spring. We don't really eat those here, so I changed it to punchkis. So when I get down to that, you guys will see that. I think that's the only one I changed on colors of spring, but on the rest of them, I did change quite a lot more. Whether it just be like the word used or I changed the whole block in general. Like, so like, for example, on colors of summer, I'll pop up a picture here. They have like clotted cream fudge, which I'm like, clotted? Ew. It's so gross to me. I hate that word. I changed that block. I don't remember to what. I'll probably pop up what I changed it to on the screen. Because like, I don't associate fudge with summer. To me, fudge is a winter thing. So I changed that. They had a picnic blanket. It's like a blue check. I changed it to a red check just because like that's how it looks for me. So I like changed that design a little bit. Oh, another one that they had on here that I kept the vibes but changed it to like the American version. So they have something called a rocket lolly, and it's like a red, orange, and yellow like 3-tier bar or 3-tier band. I think it's like probably like some kind of popsicle. But I looked at that and I immediately thought of like a bomb pop, which is like the red, white, and blue popsicle that we eat here in America, which I hate them, but I just don't like the taste of them. But I was like, that's a very summer thing. So like, yeah, stuff like that. And you know, I'm not going to go through everything right now because I definitely, this video is already too long. But like I changed colors of autumn. So like I said, colors of fall, and I changed a handful of the pictures in that. And same with colors of winter. So as each season comes up, you will see those changes. And I'm going to start, you know, I started this one on the first day of spring, and then it didn't turn out and I restarted it. But I'm going to stitch them like within the season that they're in. So I'll keep them all in like one bag. I got them in this chicken bag that I made. Here, oh, well, that's the pattern. It's free in a magazine. So I mean, you can buy it though on their Etsy, which I will have linked down below. I just found it in the magazine in my library, and I was like, I will use that. And so I'll stitch this until the end of spring, and then on the first day of summer, if this isn't done, too bad, Hillary, you got to start the summer one. So we're going to start the summer one on the first day of summer, and so on and so forth. And then if I finish the summer one within summer, then I will just, you know, I'll just work on the spring one again until it hits fall, and then I'll start that one. But yeah, that was my new/restart. Next, I worked on one of my New Year's Eve 12x12s. This was, I pulled this out because Rob was getting his wisdom tooth removed, and I needed something small for the office while I waited for him. And then I remembered that I was like, oh, these are fun, and I need to finish all my 12x12s before we hit December again. So I put in a lot of the work. I've been color completing. I also worked on this a little bit when we went to his friend had a birthday, and they all play like board games. The board game they play, I don't enjoy playing with them because it's a co-op board game. It's called Arkham Horror, and I like playing when my fiance runs it because he lets me make my own choices. But with this group of friends, one guy pretty much goes, you do this, you do that, you do that. And so I'm like, I'm not even playing, so why would I play? I'm not going to pay attention to something I can't even play, so no offense, sorry, but that's just how you guys play, so I don't like playing like that. So I just sat there and I do crafts, and so hopefully I have showed you where I was and what this will look like, and here is where I am now. You can maybe, if I was better with lighting, this wouldn't be so freaking miserable. So here is where I am now. I have finished all of that dark blue, and I started working in the like holly leaves. I'm saving the geese for last just because, I don't know, they're like the best part. So I will do those last, and then this will just be like a ornament finish. All of my 12x12s were ornaments. This has a couple étoiles in it, which I didn't even realize, I don't think, when I first picked it out, but I love étoiles, so I think it's fun. It's like a fun little sparkle. Next is my work stitch, which I'm sure you guys are like sick of seeing, but I did get a page finish. This is Pavane for These Times. So here is what it looked like before. This is stitched on a Zweigart Lugana in, I think, just Sage, I think it's called. And this is, I'm stitching it in just 310. This was my first like big monochromatic piece. It's a long dog sampler, and I gotta stand up for this because it's so big. So look at that. We are getting so close to being done. I have finished this center page here. Now, usually I tell you guys, like, this is my work stitch. I stitch on it 1 hour a day for 3 days a week while I'm on lunch at work. Guess what? I stitched on this. There's like a loose thread. I stitched on this so much this week. Oh my gosh. I just threw you over there. Why are you coming back? Because I realized nobody in my office cares about anything that I do ever. And the reason I realized this was because on Monday, our IT guy from Chicago office came out to do some upgrades on our computers. And he went to upgrade the storage on mine, and it took 4 hours. And so I didn't have a computer for 4 hours. And so I did crafts at my desk for 4 hours. And nobody said anything. Nobody cared. And I realized that I have a lot of downtime on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I work like crazy. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, I can pretty much just do crafts at my desk after I finish my work. So that's what I did. Yeah, I finished the middle page. So, and then I finished all of the text because I wanted it all on there. And so then I don't know, I just started doing some of this and like some of this to kind of like make the borders meet. But aside from that, I haven't really added anything, but this is going to be the next page that I work on because it's dense with these big like Quaker kind of style motifs. I need to get a board. Like I really think I need a board. I dropped it. Oh my God. Everything's going wrong. But yeah, so this might actually be a finish before I thought it would be. I've been finishing about a page a month, so I'm on track for August, but if I can work on this for like a few hours at my desk on Mondays and Tuesdays, oh my God, this is going to get done in so much faster. So I'm excited because I want this to be done, and then I will never stitch anything like this in hand again because I feel like it's too soft to stitch in hand. And I know some people are like, oh, I use the sewing method. I don't like the sewing method. I feel like with the sewing method, I pull way too tight. And so I don't use the sewing method. But yeah, be impressed. I got a page finish. Oh my God, 3 pages left. Next, I worked on the Sewing Starfish Sal. This is the Slumber Party Sal. This one I'll probably bring with me to StitchCon because I'm not as caught up as I would like to be. I'm behind. Let's just put it like that. I haven't finished the, wow, you see right through that. There, I stuck a project bag behind it. I haven't finished the border like at all, and I'm only like, I haven't even fully finished all the motifs. So these were last week, so we got like the pajama set, and then this is a cup of tea, which you could, it came like charted brown, but you could sub colors, like they gave you the option. I mean, you can always sub colors, but like I wouldn't have thought of doing this because I'm not that creative. But they provided like a green, so you could make it a green tea, and I like green tea, so that's what I wanted to do. And then this is going to be a TV, and these will be nail polishes. I was kind of just like color completing them because I had all the colors sitting next to me, and so I was like, all right, let's just do some, I like color completing. It feels like, I don't know, it feels fun that way for some reason. So I need to finish those, and then on Friday, which is tomorrow, because I'm filming this on Thursday, and you'll see this on Saturday or whenever you see it. But yeah, there'll be a couple more motifs released, so I'm behind because I'm not going to work on this tonight. I've got other things I want to work on. Like, I don't know, it's written down somewhere, but yeah, I really like this one, but I'm running out of a lot of the pinks. Next, I worked on my Only Judy project. Now, I think I told you guys last time I was going to finish all of Judge Judy, and then I would do the words, but you know what? I didn't feel like doing that. So I ended up kind of breaking what I said I was going to do, and I moved up a little bit, and I worked on some of the words up here. So I got all of Only done, and then this is like UD, and then there will be like a cursive Y and like a J here. So it'll say Only Judy, and then I think at the bottom it'll say like Can Judge Me. And yeah, I think it's coming along quite nicely. Oh, where's the light and all that? I don't usually like stitching like photorealistic stuff, but this one I will make an exception for. There is some back stitching in the face. Save that for the end because, you know, it'll be a little bit longer before I can put that in and not worry about it like getting kind of mangled by my own carelessness. I think this is another one that I'm going to bring to StitchCon with me, but I'm not sure. I will probably make like a vlog so you guys can see all the stuff that I bring and my experience and things like that. But for now, I'm still deciding what I want to bring with me. Just a couple more. So the next one I worked on was Love Bugs. This is one that I definitely think I'm going to bring to StitchCon with me. I want to finish this as quickly as possible because this is my engagement piece with with my fiance, like for me and my fiance. It's one that I really wanted to do, and then I started it after he proposed to me because I was like, oh, I'll sub in some dates and our initials and all that. I'm doing this all as called for. So nothing like crazy special about this. Like, I mean, like, it's special, but I'm saying like there's nothing special to mention about this. This is a 32 count Sprite Lugana by Picture This Plus, and here is where I'm at. It's kind of hard to show off because it is a little bit tone on tone. It's all these like pinky whites and they're on like a pink background. So I finished this whole is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, octagon. I finished all the bugs and like the hearts in there. I started bringing down, like there's like a couple like rows of this like diagonal stitching, and then I put this whole line of stitches underneath of the praying mantis, and then I started, this is a cicada wing, and the cicadas have like this, or the cicada, there's one big cicada, it has this like huge like back stitching to like complete like the wings webbing, so that I'll save for the end, but it'll look really cool. And then I recharted a couple things, so when I actually get those stitched, you know, you'll see that, I'll mention that, but you know, not too much, but that was only like 2 nights worth of stitching, and like I said, I think I'm gonna bring this one to StitchCon, so it should get maybe progress depending on how much stitching I get done. I have 2 more. So I have Meditation Garden, which is the piece that I want to enter into the state fair. Here's what it will look like. This I'm stitching with the called for silks. They are Miss Status's silks, and then I can't remember the fabric at all. 36 count stone linen by Fiber on a Whim. And I got another page finished. So I have 5 out of the 6 pages fully done. And I have put some work into page 6. So as you can see, not too much left now. This morning I put in like this duck, and I started filling in some of this water, and I just have like 2 sections of border. There's like a few birds and stuff like that, but like I'm so excited. I'm so close. I can taste it. I'm going to be putting in, I think this will be a big focus for me because I really want to get this done and get it framed so that I can figure out how the hell I actually enter it into the fair, because I still don't know that part. Doing all this work, I don't even know how it works. And then last but not least, I have my Year in Stitches project. If you're new here, this is essentially a stitch diary, and I stitch a motif to represent something from every single day of my life for the year of 2024. I did this in lieu of a temperature stitch because I know that some people really like temperature stitches, but I have never once in my life willingly known what the weather is. It just doesn't concern me. I'm not interested in that. I don't dress for the weather. People are like, how do you know what to wear for the day? I know what to wear for the day because I wear the same thing. Jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie. And then if it's too hot, I take the hoodie off. And if it's too cold, I put the hoodie back on. That's just how I live my life. So I actually am a little bit behind on this one, only because I had stitched like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 motifs like too high, and I didn't realize it until I got to like the 7th or 8th motif in the row, and then I was like, ah, crap. So I had to pull out all 5 of those and re-stitch them. So it was like this and then like the next 4. So I think the last you guys saw, I had shown you the bacon. So let's go on to the next one. So this is a tornado. It is a pixel art that I found online. We had a bunch of tornadoes in Michigan. They were mostly on the other side, I think. So my parents and my brother live on the west side of Michigan, and my sister and I live on the east side of Michigan. So we got a lot of rain over here and like crazy wind, but nothing else. But there was like tornadoes on the other side. I think my brother had to like shelter in place and all that. So yeah, that was the tornadoes. And then the next day, because of all the rain, there were worms all over the sidewalk, and me and Rob rescued a bunch of worms from the sidewalk because I always feel bad when people step on them. Like, so we tried to move them out of the way, but like also not put them back in the grass, which they're trying to escape because it's too wet and then they will drown. And that was self-drafted. The next one, this is a Pikmin, and this is a pixel art. Rob and I play this game called Pikmin Bloom on our phones. It's kind of like a glorified pedometer. It's like, I think it's by the same company that does Pokemon Go. But I just like Pikmin Bloom more. I just think it's cuter because I like Pikmin a lot. So I have been playing that a lot, trying to get all my flowers bloomed and all that. So if you also play Pikmin Bloom, let me know. We can become friends on there. This is a picture frame that's self-drafted, and that was because I had framed a ton of the stuff that I showed you earlier that day. Okay, this one I'm obsessed with. This is, can you guess? That's a Pop-Tart. That's self-drafted. That's like my favorite Pop-Tart. It was like the wild berry or whatever with like the blue like swirl all over the purple. On Mother's Day, we went out to my parents because my parents live on a lake and there's like a country club there. And I feel like I always have to defend this when I say this because every time I say country club, people are like, oh, so bougie. Bro, it looks like a bingo hall. Like the country club is not fancy. It's like, it's not. So we went to the country club because they had like a Mother's Day brunch thing. And like the guy who cooks there, he does a great job. Like his food is really good. They had like a bunch of like potatoes and eggs and various meat products and lots of desserts. And they had this table with like a bunch of breakfast pastries, and I died because there was this huge platter of just loose Pop-Tarts. Like they weren't in the packages on the platter. Somebody opened every single package of Pop-Tarts and plated them on a platter, and then it was like a toaster next to it. And I'm standing there just like staring at it, laughing. And my dad walks up and he goes, oh, I think I'm going to have to partake in that. And he grabs a pair of tongs and puts a Pop-Tart into the toaster. And I was like, what is wrong with you? My family's a big Pop-Tarts family. So, I mean, it made sense, but it was just really funny to see like a plate of loose Pop-Tarts. Okay, so the next day would have been a Monday. This is a gear that it was a pixel art. We got another new engineer. I think you guys will maybe remember. Over here, I had this wrench because we had hired an engineer. Then he quit like a week later. Who can blame him? But we got a new guy. Hopefully he doesn't quit. So far, he's still there. I love this one. This is a tea bag. This is self-drafted. So I'm like looking at my notes. My granddad, I had told you guys like earlier in the year, I had gone over there. We had like a little tea party because he had wanted to kind of try tea. He's like a coffee guy. And I bought him some tea, and I brought over like a kettle, and you know, we had tea, and he liked it. He said he's still a coffee guy though. But because I had bought him tea, he felt like he had to buy me tea because he felt like indebted, I guess. I don't know. He bought me a box of 100 tea bags of Earl Grey because I said that was like one of my favorite kinds of tea. And so I brought it to work, and I stuffed it in my like tea drawer at work, and it's like taking up half the drawer. This is a watch. This is a Makoto Ozu design, but I modified the colors to match what my watch looks like because Rob, a couple of years ago, he bought me like a Samsung like watch. I don't know why I feel like I had to point to my wrist like you guys don't know what a watch is, but it's like a electric watch, and it like connects to my phone and all that. I've been using that a lot more in conjunction with like Pikmin Bloom so I can like count my steps, and I'm trying to get back into running and be more active and blah blah blah. It's like a lifelong thing. But yeah, so I've been using my watch a lot more, and so I wanted to put that on there. And then this is a thimble. I hope you guys can tell. That's a Makoto Ozu pattern as well, and that was because of the day that I had done all that sewing on all my FFOs. And that's as far as I've gotten so far. The rest of them I have drafted. I have it all on my list. You guys will probably see those next time. but yeah, that is my year in stitches, and we are almost halfway through this project. If we get close to the end of the year and I tell you guys, oh, maybe I should do this again next year, I need you in the comments to tell me absolutely not. Do not do that again next year, because as fun as this is and as cool as it is, first of all, how am I going to display this? I'm not, like, the year's over, like nobody cares anymore. I mean, I like it. It's fun. But two, like, thinking up a thing every single day, that's a lot. You'd think it's not a lot of work, but after a while you start running out of ideas. And sometimes you just have days where you don't do anything. So you kind of have to be like, okay, how do I force this? But I really like this. I think this will be a really cool thing to look back on. Okay, as if this video wasn't already long enough, but I am going to keep my other crafts segment in because I want to. So last time I had shown you guys that I was working on a sock. These are the Weekend Shorty socks. And I had already made one pair of these, like, monocolored, but they're actually, like, supposed to have a bunch of color changes. And so I'm actually doing that with the color changes. And I did finish sock numero uno. And I'm just using, like, hobby yarn, like the brand Hobby. Okay, I gotta fix this. Okay, hopefully the lighting stops being crazy, but one day I'll figure out how lighting works. But I don't know, probably not, because I've been on YouTube for like 4 years and I still can't figure it out. Anyways, so these are, like I said, the Weekend Shorty socks. This hasn't been blocked or anything, so I got like a crazy thread hanging out of there. I gotta fix that. But yeah, I just used like these neon kind of colors, and so I finished the first one, and something that I feel that a lot of people who knit know is, like, making one sock is easy. It's making the second sock, like getting motivated to make the second sock is kind of like difficult for some people. I haven't found that to be true for me yet, but I do typically, as soon as I finish the first one, immediately cast on the second. This is only like my 4th pair of socks, so what do I know? But I finished the cuff and the leg, but the leg on these socks is literally 3 rows. That you can see it, that like little white part. And then this is the heel flap that I've started, so, you know, making good progress. The part on this that is the slog is the foot, because I have giant goblin feet, and I'm a big woman. I wear should I tell you guys this? I wear like 11 to 11 and a half in men's, depending on the shoe. I got big feet. My little brother, he wears like a 15 or a 16. So like I'm like nothing compared to him. My mom's side of the family is just huge. But yeah, so like the foot is monstrous, and because it's just plain white, it was like really boring. But I felt like as a good contrast to these neons. So there's that. And then I was like, oh no, I don't need to start anything else, because like with knitting projects I tend to have one going at a time. But here's the thing, Whittier Stitches sent me a picture, or sent me a link to this really beautiful Lisa Frank kind of themed yarn, and I was like, oh, I want that, and I kind of want to try using 9-inch circulars because I use double pointed needles. Like, that's just what I've always done ever since I was like 11 years old. And I asked Whittier Stitches, I was like, should I bite the bullet? Should I try the 9-inch circulars? And she was like, honestly, like, never look back when I started them. So I bought some, and I was like, once I finish these socks, I will, you know, I'll cast on something on the 9-inch circulars. But I got impatient, so I started, I haven't even gotten the yarn in that I was gonna do this with. So I used a different yarn. So this is another like fun color, like clown vomit yarn. And these are the Decathlon socks, which, you know what I didn't know until like 40 minutes ago, or 40 minutes prior to filming this video, is that it's not pronounced decathlon. I thought it was decathlon. So I've been spelling it decathlon, but it's decathlon. There's no like there's no extra in there. So I've been saying and thinking that word incorrectly my entire life. Here's the thing. So far, I do like these. I've seen people complain about like hand cramping. I don't get that yet, because I think that the way I hold the needles is how I just hold needles anyway. I'm very dainty with it. Like I like grip everything back here, but like I don't really I don't know. I don't find it difficult so far. What I did find difficult was when I'm a tight knitter, and when I cast on, it wasn't like long enough for me to like join it easily. Like it was I was like about to throw it across the room. It was making me so mad because I couldn't join it. And I don't know if it's just like because of the way this is ribbed or what, but like I feel like my knitting is much looser than I'm accustomed to. I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I'm like putting them together and being like, are they the same size? I don't know. So we'll see. When this is a little bit longer and I can kind of like get a better gauge of my gauge, I guess. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, at worst, if it doesn't work well, like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, that is all the knitting that I've been doing. Just a bunch of socks. I just want to knit socks forever. So I guess that just leaves me to haul just a couple very small pieces of haul. So I watched Elizabeth Ann can stitch. She had like a vlog for her recent retreat that she went on, and she was talking about this creator called Kaylee Cross Stitch, and I checked her out, and she has this, you can ask for like a free, like basically mini kit, and it's like to try out tiny stitching because that's what she does. So she sent me in the mail, like it was like super fast, and I was like really blown away, a piece of 56 count fabric. So the idea behind this is that I'm going to stitch 1/1 on this. So little 56 count, this tiny needle is in there, and then you get to request like a color of floss, and she sent, I can't, or you can say like send me whatever. I can't remember if I requested this or if she sent me whatever. It seems like I requested this because it's yellow. But she sent me Auvers Soie, and it is like a kind of sunflowery yellow. She wrote on the tag and everything, and it says use the hashtag trying tiny stitching, and she sent like a free chart, and she even like wrote down here like you got the 56 count, and this is like the type of thread. She has on her Instagram, which I will link down below, a lot of like resources on where to find like the right kinds of threads and stuff like that. So I have a couple ideas. I'm not sure yet, but I really like this color. So that I got to figure out a pattern. I might do the free pattern, but the free pattern is frog, so I don't know if the yellow will look good with it or not. We'll see. The other thing I bought was that yarn that I told you is not here yet, and I hold Whittier Stitches accountable for that one because I never would have seen that if not for them. And then yesterday I was like thinking about my upcoming retreat, and I was like, I really need a light. I need a light just in case. So I went on Joann's, and lights were half off, and I was like, all right, let me put this for pickup. This one is rechargeable. It's not like a plug-in like to use, which is what I was looking for. So it's, oh, did I turn it on? There we go. It's like folds up pretty compact. This is like kind of like a soft rubber. It's got a pretty like, bro, that's the one thing about this is like you barely touch this bar and the light turns on. But it's got a pretty solid base. This is like rubberized, so it like won't slip. You can stop. You can like twist this. You can bend it all the way up, bend it down. Like it's really quite flexible. This is like plastic, but it's got like fake plastic stitching on it. That's really funny. And then like this feels like silicone, and then yeah, there's like 3 levels, and you just tap it 3 times and then it turns off. So I feel like this will be good for the table if I need it. It's fairly lightweight, and you know, like I said, it folds up pretty decently. So yeah, it wasn't like crazy expensive, but it also wasn't like super cheap. It was like $35 or something like that, which I have already used it quite a bit in this room because like there is no overhead lighting in here. So I've stitched in here just yesterday and today, and I've hardly used it twice. So perfect. Got it yesterday, used it twice. That is my advocation for it. And it comes with a charger and everything you need. Yeah, so that's it. I don't have any specific plans aside from gearing up for StitchCon. I got to pick out projects for that, so that'll probably be a whole other video. I don't have any plans aside from that. I'm starving. I need to finish my lunch, and I've talked too much. So that's going to be it. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, or I guess day, just depending on whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you later. Bye.